Lay. Sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Kane is in the building, nigga.
Alright, already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when it comes up, the show goes on. Alright, already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when it comes up, the show goes on. Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had?
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Matchup Zone. Here, talking overseas basketball, bullshitting a little bit. Tonight we have on Dion Jones. Dion plays in Japan, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also played at Monmouth University, where I played during the run where they kind of knocked off UCLA, USC, and went on a big run, and the bench mob and all that, kind of how that started. I want to hear his opinions about that because that became like huge news on ESPN and everything, talking about like how the bench mob was like going crazy. Joined as always by producer John Hunt. John, what's up, man? How's everything going?
It's going all right, brother. It's good to see you again. Another week. We're getting good at this. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like we're clicking on all cylinders. It's good to be working again. I had a couple jobs. Seems like some business is coming back.
There you go.
So I can't complain there. I had a job last night. We're going to have a job tonight in the monsoon that we got this afternoon.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the guys I was working with last night was saying that he's actually on this job at a completely different country club tonight. And he was like, yeah, they got a tent out back. That's where we're supposed to be. And it's supposed to like monsoon for the next like 7 hours.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's been pouring. I took the dogs for a walk. It was a nightmare. It was.
Yeah.
I'm like still wet. My socks are wet. My feet are cold. My chair's I have like a weird thing going on with my chair. So I have this chair. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell people exactly where the chair came from. So I have a chair that I was driving on the road, and it's like a real nice like leather chair. Here, I'll take a.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. That's like
high class, man.
That's executive level shit right there. So I saw it, but like where it came from is not as you know, it's not as nice. So I drove and I saw it on the side of the road. Someone had just wheeled it down to put it in the trash, and I scooped it right up, and it's really fucking loud. So like every time I do anything,
Oh yeah,
it's like real. Yeah, it's real squeaky. So
I like it.
yeah. So that's what, if you're listening on audio and just on iTunes or something like that, that's where that's coming from. If you're watching the video, at least you'll kind of be able to see what's going on. So if you ever hear the podcast squeak, it's me.
Some nasty sound.
Exactly.
That's Kevin's chair.
Yeah.
I got a good chair story for you, dude. Have you ever heard my chair story?
No.
Oh, dude. All right. So when I first started working at Carusi,
Uh-huh.
all right, man. There was a substitute. No names.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There was a substitute. And I was out for the day, or maybe the morning.
Oh, I did hear this, but tell it
hear
anyway.
this?
Tell it.
Should
Yeah,
I tell
go
it?
ahead, go ahead.
It's,
Yeah,
oh
tell
man,
it.
it's one of my best stories. So I came back from like maybe like being in meetings or whatever, and it was the next day. It was the next day, and I sat down in my chair. It was first thing in the morning. I sat down in my coffee, and I'm trying to like get myself together, and I'm like, what is that smell? It smells like cat piss in my room. And I'm like, what kid did I piss off that he like pissed in the corner of my room or something like that? That's where my head went at first. And then I finally like looked down at my chair, and there was like a water line on my chair. And I was like, that wasn't there before. It was like one of those like fabric-y chairs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I smelled the chair, and I was like, there's like someone sat on my chair and just peed. And I was like, oh my God. So I went in the janitor's closet and got every like chemical, and you know, they don't have any good chemicals or whatever.
No.
And I just dumped whatever I could and put the chair outside for like a week. And it turns out like the next day I spoke to the sub that was in there, and, you know, they were like, oh yeah, I you know, like I didn't have a chance to like go to the bathroom all morning. It was really, really tough. And I was just like, this sub definitely had to go. And when it was an older sub, and I
That's what I was
understand
gonna say,
that
yeah.
happens sometimes, you know. So, and I was like, I wanted to be angry, man, but I was just like, I can't even right now.
I feel like that was the biggest preface you have to say. It was like an older person. It wasn't like just
Yeah.
some like pissed off kid who like was subbing and was just like, I'm just gonna pee in the chair. It was like an older person who like actually couldn't control it.
I felt
You're-
so bad, but listen, man, I still use the chair.
I was about to say, do you still use the chair?
Listen, I soaked it down. I guess after you have kids, you just don't care anymore.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
like, I have 2 little boys, so like pee is kind of like part of the deal or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I was just like, that's disgusting. But at the same time, I'm not buying another friggin' chair. So yes,
Yeah.
that is my chair story, man. Now we're talking about chairs.
That's
now
crazy.
Grossed everyone out.
I was about to say you could just go and trash pick one off the side. I swear to God, I've seen so many chairs, and I should sell chairs because every time I seem to like have a honing beacon where I drive down a street and there's like a pretty nice like leather chair out for the trash. And I always am like, I should just throw this in the back. But then I'm like, what the fuck? Or what am I going to do with like 30 trash pick chairs? Like I only need so many. So I was like, this is going to be a little weird.
Well, you got the king of chairs over there, man.
I do have the king of chairs.
You know
It's
what?
also,
We're gonna have to get you some WD-40 or something for the squeak.
seriously, it's no good right now with what's going on with this whole entire situation.
Well, it looks like we got our guest online, brother. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do
All right,
it.
let's invite Dion into the room. Here he comes. We'll see how our broadband is today. There he is, Dion.
What's going on? How are you?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear
Can
us?
you hear us, Dion?
What's going on? What's going on?
There it is.
Hey, man.
What's going on? How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Glad to be on. Appreciate having me.
This is great. So, Dion, we're talking a little bit of overseas basketball today. Wanted to kind of get your story. But the first thing we just wanted to kind of go into the Monmouth University.
Right.
Obviously, the cool thing is, playing at Monmouth, I remember, you're always a fan.
Mhm.
And watching that kind of run you guys went on,
Yeah.
you dunking over the entire USC team was awesome. That whole entire experience, you guys really put Monmouth back onto the map.
Right.
Kind of talk us through that experience of just, like how your team kind of evolved and how you guys like really, you knocked off UCLA, USC, all these big teams. So talk us through that.
Yeah, man. It was really just like a strong brotherhood we had. Everybody was very close. We were really engaged in what we had to get done. We really were focused on our goal, at the task at hand. And then we took each game as that game. We didn't think about, all right, next game we got this person, next game we have this person. We focused on each game individually and really honed in on that and, really prepared well for it. And we just really, came together so well each game. And like I said, it was just like a brotherhood. We just got the first win, UCLA, and then we just kept rolling after that. So it was a great year. It was a very, very nice year.
It was awesome. It was so much fun to watch. And then like the bench mob got a lot of attention. What were like, because it's funny because, I feel like when I played, like I didn't know what was going on the bench. And then I found out they were doing weird shit on the bench. And I'm like, what is but I don't know. I'm like going and playing. So it was pretty funny. So like, were you kind of the same way? Like, what are they doing over there? Or was it like all playing and you kind of knew what was going on?
So when they first did it, I guess it was just, just a reaction. They did something. You got funny guys. You got Dan Pilar, you got Greg Nowak, it was Louis and Tyler. They were all just outside of the court. They were already funny. So, so they just added that humor into it, and they saw that it kind of was gaining some traction. And then it was like, okay, we might as well just keep doing this. The team's winning. Let's keep adding to it, bringing, more publicity to us and everything like that. So it was funny, those guys quick. And it was always a good little chuckle,
That was great. That was like such a fun year. I really do think, like I always look at, and we'll talk about like a little bit of history of Monmouth, because like I looked at the guys from like the 90s, like that era with like a Corey Albano and John Geraldo, and like those guys were kind of the guys that kind of put Monmouth on the map. And then we had like our group, and like we kind of like got it going again, and then it was kind of like fell off a little bit, and then you guys like jumped it back up to like almost like an insane level because with you guys dominating, knocking off teams and the bench mob, it was awesome. I look at like now I'll put you on the spot because I have a few questions. So like, if you look at, have you heard of like that old regime of like Corey Albano and John Giraldo? Did you know those names like when you were playing at Monmouth?
I feel like Coach Rice has maybe mentioned it a few times. I'm not too familiar with those guys though. Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with those guys.
What about like a Rasan Johnson?
Yeah, I heard of him, and of course, going back to like Blake, Blake Hamilton, he would always be around. So going back to that, to his time for sure, and you guys' time.
So now I'll put you on the spot. Did you ever hear of me when you were at Monmouth?
I
have?
Yeah.
I was almost like for a self-deprecating way, hoping you'd be like, no, never, like not even a little bit.
Yeah, we got to stoke Kevin's ego a little bit, man. He's like, point scorer. What else? Let's get the stat line here.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, I feel like because there's like a new coach and like you kind of like, it's like almost like, is the program still like, does the history kind of like resonate? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know if anyone would have heard of me, like even because they're like, new, but I feel like the only way I knew is when I looked in like the program and I was like, oh, like this guy's 1,000-point scorer, this guy's 1,000, and I just knew the names. I didn't know like what they did. So I was like, I was almost hoping you'd be like, nope, never heard of you. Like, no idea.
Yeah, Coach Rice, he would always he knew the history very well of.
That's awesome.
Team, so he would definitely inform us on things like that for sure.
That's awesome, and you got Blake around, Blake Hamilton. So I know he's kind of like going, and I feel like there's you still had like the Jeff Stapletons and stuff like that, the guys that like kind of passed through. So have you talked like, do you still have connections with Monmouth? Have you gone, obviously during the season and stuff?
Yeah, well, I went to the game. It was around Christmas. I think it was around Christmas. I went to the game, and funny thing is, I went. Chris Brady came, Zach Tillman came, Dan Pilari came, and so we had a little reunion type of thing. And they had us up on the jumbotron, and we got to talk with Coach Rice and the team. So it was definitely nice being back. And honestly, that was like the first time I was back since I graduated. Honestly. So yeah, it was definitely a great feeling being back and getting the love from the fans, from the coaches, from the players, and everything like that. So it was really cool.
That is awesome. That first time back is always fun. Well, did they hit you up for money your first time back?
Oh, you talking about like the just trying to give back type of thing?
Yeah, like my first time back. Now I played at Boylan, and I went back the first year, and I was in Boylan watching, and they came up and they're like, so the MAC, the thing that we promised you when you were getting recruited, that's being built now. So would you like to buy a locker? Would you? And I was like, sure. Like, like I just finally had money. I was like, sure. And I just like donated all this stuff. And I was like, shit. So it's like nice. Cause I think the MAC is incredible right now, but I wasn't sure if like hit you up.
Yeah. Probably even gave it, but so yeah,
it's awesome. It's the MAC is incredible. Like playing there, it's like a real college arena. And you've been in Boylan. Did you guys used to practice there at all?
Yeah, we used to practice there. Like if something was going on in the MAC, we would go to the to Boylan.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll scrimmage a couple times down there, just like on the team, but like not against anybody else. But
yeah,
only if we had to go down there, we would go down there.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. So kind of, Dion, going into your story, because I think the biggest thing that a lot of people want to know is how do you jump from college to pro? Like a lot of people know the LeBron stories and they know the NBA stories, like they're getting drafted, there's cameras everywhere. Everyone knows that story, but a lot of people don't know the story of like what happens when you're in college and then you kind of have to, you have to jump to overseas basketball. So kind of take us through that process for you.
So honestly, I graduated, and then I didn't get my first contract. So I graduated in May, training a bunch, and I got one agent because you kind of got to get it. You don't have to get an agent, but it's you should, I guess. So I had my first agent, and he couldn't really get me anything. So I honestly had to fire him
Mhm.
before I even started my professional career. Nothing was coming through. So another guy came up and he brought up Japan, and I love Asia. I always wanted to go to Asia.
Mhm.
I mean, we've been to China. We've been to China with the mom team. So
Yeah.
Asia is always like a nice place that I would like to play at. And so then he brung the contact about being in Tokyo. I was like, oh, absolutely, of course. You know, that would be amazing. So then the contract came through, and I left on Thanksgiving. I left on Thanksgiving, and you know, getting over there, it was just such a big culture shock. You know,
Yeah.
you're used to, you know, being in the States, you know, knowing the language, you know, all of that. So it was just such a shock, but it was such a cool experience from the beginning. Even the culture is just so, you know, everybody was so welcoming. Everybody was, you know, you were really like a big celebrity over there. You know, you're going to stores and people are coming up to you and stuff like that. So it was a little different. I was just like, oh, okay, all right. I mean, obviously at Monmouth, you know, you get people that, you know, like to get like your game, this and that, but it was like everywhere you go, you're doing autographs and stuff like that. So it's just like it was cool. It was a shock. And then when you start up now, like I came in the season was already started,
Mhm.
and they might have played already about like 10, 15 games. 6 come in, I play like that weekend. So I might have came in on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I played Saturday. So I practiced with the team a little bit, and then we go in and start playing, and then you realize like, yo, these dudes are
Yeah.
strong. Like it's a
Uh-huh.
little different. It's a little different than being in college. You know, obviously you got some strong guys in college, of course, but it's different. It's a different strength. It's like they're professionals. They know how to use their body. They know how to do this and that. And I think, you know, I really got hit with like one hard screen, and I was like, oh, that sounds like welcome to the pros, I guess, right? And, so then I actually had a really good game that game too. I think I had like 15 points and like 13 rebounds. It was like my first game, and I was just like, okay. I was like, all right, I can do this. And then, because in Japan you play usually on the weekends. You play twice back to back. So you'll play Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. So we
Okay.
played Saturday, and then Sunday we played again. I think we got one win and one loss actually, and it was one against one of the top teams over there too. So, you know, and then from there, and then, you know, you just start to get you start adjusting. You start to, you know, get familiar with the team, the coaches, the food. I love the food actually. The food
Yeah.
is amazing over there, and that was one thing I really loved about that. And also having to be in Tokyo my first year is like really big, because, you know, you got some places over in Japan it's not as lively. It's not like a city type. You know,
Yeah.
Tokyo is like, you know, New York City basically. So it was perfect. Like people were like, "Oh, you got this for your first job." I was like, I guess, yeah, cool. You know, so, but it's definitely you know, it took some getting used to, of course, on the court and off the court, of course, with the language barrier, and um, you know, be able to play and continue to improve.
Oh, I thought John, I thought you were pointing. I thought you had something. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no.
John, jumping off there.
I gotta be honest. I'm like looking up Deion Jones, like some highlight reels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nice, there you go.
It's
I'm
impressive.
gonna make you look good, brother. I got you. I got some photos of you here. Is your uniform in Japan? Is that this pink one?
Yeah, that was my second year.
That was your
Okay.
second year. Yeah, I got a couple nice photos here. We're gonna make you look good, bro.
I appreciate that.
That's what it's all about. So if you have any like Twitter handles or any Instagram pages or whatever, we'll make sure we get that, and I can screenshot that. So if anyone wants to follow you, that kind of stuff, we'll make sure that happens, brother.
Sure.
All right.
You want me to say it now or just tell you after?
Yeah, say it now. No, say it now, man. And then listen, we're high class. We're gonna make a video out of this. We'll have it scrolling at the bottom.
On Twitter and on Instagram, it's at D5Jones. Yeah, it's the D5Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
Nice.
We'll do
Got
that. Yeah.
It's crazy. I feel like we've gone from like everything's all just been audio, and now we have this like video aspect. I think the quarantine helped because now everything's on video, and now it's like we've taken like another step where like the audio we just forget. Like I'm sitting there like, hey, do you see that thing behind me? And people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like listening on iTunes. Like I have no idea what this guy's deal is. So kind of jumping back into Japan. I know like. How would you describe it? I think about Europe and like, you know, how Europe goes, and it's like more of a slow process. It's a very methodical. It's like, you know, it's not a fast paced game, but I feel like Japan is more of an upbeat, fast paced game. How would you like, is that like the style you like playing? You just like, you know, get up and down?
Yeah, so it literally, it was perfect for me. You know, like you said, they get up and down. They're quick. They're pushing it. They're going. Like you said, Europe, a little bit more slow, you know. Japan, they're flying, and anywhere in Asia. Asia, like I mean, the countries in Asia, like they really, you know, they push it, they get it up. So it was perfect for me. So I was happy to be able to start over there, and you know, of course, Asia also. People like another reason people are like, wow, I can't believe you got over Asia so quick, because Asia people try to work
yes
with Asia. So I was very fortunate to be able to already start there from the beginning. So that was cool.
Well, it's cool, and I, you know, kind of like what you were saying, Asia's a big jumping point because Asia pays very well. You know, it's like a fast-paced game, but the pay is always like very high. So, like you said, like jumping from there. I mean, it took me like I was in the D League for 3 years. I went to Australia, and then like I was like, okay, like now you can go. You know, here's a contract from South Korea, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is a lot of money.
Yeah. South Korea, yeah, I know they give a lot of money as well.
And I think that was like I was like, it took me a while to get there, and then. I think like that Oceanic, like, you know, the Australias and stuff, because these are like incredible places to play. I know Australia is like a lot of fun. If you ever get a chance to play there,
Australia,
it's the league's great.
My brother actually played over there.
Oh, really?
He was in Melbourne. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
And it's crazy. My father actually played in Australia too.
Did he really?
Yeah, back in.
I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
See, it's. Have you ever been to Australia?
No, I haven't. It was a few different opportunities that I was thinking about pursuing over there to play.
That's awesome.
This last season. So
that's really cool. Yeah. Have you? So, kind of jumping, because now we'll kind of go into like what's currently happening in the coronavirus. Like, I just want to put the listeners into the mindset of like a player, because I always knew the summer was so stressful. Because, you know, overseas basketball contract, even if you're in the same league, chances are like playing for the same team twice is like pretty rare.
Yeah.
So everything's like shuffled up every year, and the imports are just like, it's like Yahtzee thrown back out. So kind of going into the this season now with the uncertainty, have you heard much? Do you know, like, you know, are teams still planning on starting the seasons on time?
I think I've been seeing some signings from teams for the upcoming season. So I think it might be at least they're preparing for it to be, you know, starting when it's supposed to. I doubt that it probably will, because you go over in August. So
yeah,
that's only that's next month. So
yes,
I don't know how say, because I mean, but honestly, some countries already have people over there playing.
Yeah,
I know in I think it was Turkey. I think they might have people over there. And a few other in Spain, I think they might have people playing too. I'm sure it's in front of not an audience, I mean a crowd, but
yeah.
But some people are preparing to get ready for that. So
it's crazy. Kind of go like this whole, you know, I think like a lot of people are there. There's like travel restrictions, which is one of the things that I thought was scary for an overseas player, like the travel restrictions between America and Europe. Now it's like Europe's like, we're not accepting Americans. Obviously there'll be exceptions when, you know, they're like, hold on, well, you're cool because you're good at basketball, you can play, like you're good. The guy who's just coming to backpack, like fuck him, like no, you stay there, stay where you are. I think it's so crazy. So like, what is your mindset right now? Like, do you have a contract for next year, or are you just sitting here waiting?
So, well, I guess this would be the first time I'm really mentioning it. I'm actually finished.
Exclusive.
I was
No,
gonna say,
get the
man,
music
breaking
ready.
news. Breaking news. Let's hear what's going on.
No, I'm done playing actually now.
Are you really?
I'm actually finished. I'm actually about to do software engineering.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, so what had happened with me, like so I finished up the season. My last season was the beginning of 2018, I think it was. Beginning of 2018.
Okay.
I went the whole year, all right, preparing, getting ready, my agent's like, yeah, this is going to come through, talking to different teams, and stuff will come up, stuff come down. I got an offer from a team that summer, but it was like the third division, right?
Okay.
Pretty good money,
Yeah.
and it was in Asia. It was in Tokyo. It was still in Tokyo. Pretty good money, but it was like third division, and like my agent's like, I mean, we should be it's the third division, it's early. He's the B1 guy. He gets all the top guys. He has like the top guy over there, like Nick Fazekas. That's his guy.
Oh, yep.
Top paying guy over there. So we should be good. We should, you can take it if you want, but it should be other stuff coming. So he's like, all right, we'll decline. We'll take it. We got more coming, right? Had a good season. Finished up great. And so I'm like, okay, something definitely else will. Stuff will come up, stuff will come down. So then now it's getting into the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, like, all right, let's get it going. My brother has connections still in Australia, so he was talking to an Australian team. They were very interested. They were basically like, we'll sign you, right? But at the same time, my agent's like, oh, this looks like it's about to come through, so wait 1 second. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like, because then also going to Australia, and the one in Australia, it was the second division, so it was the one that was in March. That would start in March.
Yes.
So also that would be a big pay cut too, and it would be, I was like, I don't know how the talent is. I'm sure the talent was good, but like, me just thinking, I'm not really thinking. I'm like, oh yeah, coming from Asia, so they're like basically like, oh, we will take you, we want you, and then like I kind of like was kind of taking my time. It was like, oh, well, trying to like feel it out, thinking that something else was about to come up over in Asia. Unfortunately, it did not come, and then it was too late to be like, oh yeah, we'll take Australia. So then that year went past, and I'm like, all right, okay, so still with the same guy, because like we had a really good relationship, and he because like a lot of the teams in Japan, they like big guys, they like taller guys, 4, 5 guys, five men, 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" type guys, right? So that's what was a little bit of what was wrong with, because I was a wing, so they were like, they don't take that many. They do take wings, but it's a few, what I mean? So it was a lot of different things, like, okay, we need a 4 for this, we need a 5, okay, we need a 3, but he has to be like 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
So and then they changed up the rule. The rule was the years that I played, it was you have 3 Americans, and then you do 1 can play first and third quarter, second and fourth you can play 2.
Yes.
And you can interchange them in that second and or you can interchange them, right? Yes. The year that was kind of tough, they had 2 that can play the whole game, but that third import he couldn't even suit up. So they were thinking like, okay, we got a big man and we got a guard. Our big man fouls out, the guard's going to have to guard at center. So they was like,
exactly, yeah,
2 bigs. We need basically 2 bigs. So that was kind of the thing that was kind of messing me up a little bit. So we're in the summer, last summer, we're in 2019, and then I changed agents. I go with BDA Sports, big agency. Actually it was at the time, it was the same agent as Justin Robinson's agent. Okay. Because we hooked me up with him. So I go out to Vegas. In July. They had the big like a little like combine type of thing for them. Bunch of scouts there. I do good. I do very good. Even the agent was like, yo, you did good. Everybody thinks you did good, but this and that. So I'm like, okay. things are okay. We took a year off. Now we're back, right? So then, nothing. Then nothing comes up, and then I'm like, and he's like, well, nah, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So I'm like, all right, I'm working out, like, the hardest I've worked out, because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna prove these guys wrong. I'm gonna
Exactly.
prove everyone wrong. And and then it kept going. It was like, okay, and it was like, okay, this might come up. Oh, and Russia might come up. Okay, then it went away. Okay, over here might come up. Oh, Japan might come up again. Then it goes away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So, actually, in my bad, to rewind that back a little bit, in the spring. Oh, sorry, Siri. In the spring of 2019, I was like, okay, I'm finished. I'm done playing. Right. In the spring, in the beginning, like maybe March, February, March, and I was going to do the school that I'm going to do this year, actually. So like, you have to go through like a whole process because it's a tough software development school. It's 3 months and it's super, super tough, and you get a great job afterwards.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm doing it. So I go through the whole process. I get accepted to the school, and the school starts in May 20th. I get a call from my agent May like 7th, something like that, right? And he's like, this team in Japan might want you.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? So like, I'm like, yo, I got accepted to school. I'm like pretty serious about it.
Yeah.
He goes, I mean, he was like, it's up to you. It's completely up to you, but it's looking good. This is the same team that offered me the year before that I turned. And now they're up to the second division. So they went up. So now I was like, okay. So I'm like, all right, okay, that sounds good. And I'm like, I'm not done playing. Like, I still felt that urge to be like, I still want to play, what I mean? So I tell the school, I'm like, hey, this, and this, told them what happened. They're like, oh no, go, finish out your dream. We don't want you to regret anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're super supportive with them. Like, we'll be here. You know what I mean? Of course, I got to go through the process again, but they were like, we'll be here. It's fine. So I'm like, okay, so I'm working out, getting ready, thinking that the team still didn't offer yet. They were in the process of it, I guess, right? And then a couple of months go past, it was like, we're actually just gonna go with these two bigs. And I'm like, yo, I was like, are you kidding me right now?
That's insane.
So I'm just like, wow, like I just kind of gave that up for y'all to say, no. And it was just like, I was like, okay, that's when I switched to a different agent and went to Vegas and did good, and then stuff still didn't come up. And then at that point, I was just like, it's not even, sometimes it's not even about like how you play on the court. Like I was like, I had 2 great seasons, season average 17 point something, which then got the next contract, then averaged like 14 points and led the team to, we were like 5th place in the league. So it was like, it wasn't even about that anymore. It was like other things, you know what I mean? It had to be, because like, my game was good. Everybody knew who I was, and I've shown it. So then I just got tired of like putting my future in the hands of these GMs, these presidents, these agents, you know what I mean? And just was like, all right, I'm gonna do something, put it on myself, and then do something. So I decided to make the change, and now I got accepted to the school, and I start in October. It's called Zip Code Wilmington.
That's awesome.
So I start that in October, and I'm happily doing this, and I'm not like walking away with no regrets or like saying, oh, I wish this and that. Like last year when I was like, all right, I'm walking away, I couldn't even watch basketball because I'm like,
I should be,
exactly. But this year it's like I can still watch it, and I'm happily like, and still enjoy it, because I'm thankful for all that it's done for me, to this point. And I'm going to take so many things that I've learned from basketball into this next career. You know what I mean? It allowed me to travel the world. It was a lot of buckets scored on dudes. It was about a lot of dunks, like all the stuff, you know what I mean? So I'm appreciative for what all of that basketball did for me. But it was like, it felt like it was time to move on to that next chapter, and walking on to that, happily.
That's awesome. So kind of tell me about this, your new venture. You kind of have like Cooler Than Average.
Cooler than average. So I came up with that. I think it was around like October, November. That so what it has to do, because I'm a type 1 diabetic, right? And being able to make it to play professional basketball, it was a lot of things that I had to make sure I had on point. A lot of practices I had to like make sure I check my sugar. Every practice I gotta check my
Yeah.
sugar. Sometimes I might have to sit out because it dropped or it went too high. But so what I did, I'm giving a platform to people who have obstacles that they have in their life that they didn't let it stop them. You know what I mean? That can still be optimistic about whatever that they're trying to achieve and not let anything stand in the way. Because we all, as the human race, we go through things, and we try to figure out how to get overcome it, pretty much, because there's not one person that does not have one thing that's wrong. Everybody
Yes.
has something that that's holding them back, or it's a struggle or something. You know what I mean? So basically, I'm just giving them a platform to be able to tell their story. So I have like a bunch of different people telling their stories on article. It's on coolerthanaverage.com.
Nice.
We have people who had people who had cancer, people who amputee, lung transplant, domestic violence, somebody that went through domestic violence, somebody that was a diabetic. It's so many different ones, and we're still growing it today. We have clothing, we have different things like that. So I'm just trying to give people a platform for that, because when I became a diabetic, I didn't have any like reference to look at to be like,
Yeah.
okay, they're telling my story. They're doing this, they're doing that, and I can relate. I'm just trying to relate to these people and show like, okay, we hear you. You are special. Because you have this illness or whatever it may be, it doesn't mean that you're lesser. You still, you could use it as it's still a gift in a way. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
be stronger because you have to deal with something, that somebody else may not have to deal with. And people can go to the site and see that and be like, hey, oh, that person dealt with that and he handled it that way. Oh, I like that. I can put that into my daily, everyday thing or something, So, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like, I mean, it's just that's like the platform that you're creating is incredible. I think that's just, like you said, giving people a voice that don't have, that like think they're alone. I think that's just like, it's incredible. Just like thinking about like I never even thought like, cause I don't know. My grandma was a diabetic, and it's you kind of see that, and you're just kind of like in the dark. Like I'm like ignorantly, I don't really know the struggles, and it's incredible to kind of like to have something where if I could go there and like understand. I mean, I just love things that like the younger people can look at and be like, wow, that I have a voice too. Like this is great.
Absolutely. And you can check also on the Instagram. We have a Cooler Than Average Instagram as well.
Nice.
As well.
Yeah, I'm all over the webpage actually right now, and it's amazing.
Oh,
I'm actually looking at it right now. I got the Crohn's disease, Rachel Rutosky, brain tumor, Sonny Pinckney, and Kevin, you were just talking about younger kids, and that's a passion that obviously Kevin and I have. We're both teachers and stuff, and we try and tell the kids this stuff every day. Like, people walk down the hallways in our school that like they get looked at and like for their appearance, and they may have a smile on their face, they may be the coolest kid, they may be the homecoming king, but you don't always realize what that kid or person, or really anyone walking down the street, is going through. And I'm looking at this website, man, I'm just like, this is incredible stuff. Really.
Thank you, man.
This is incredible stuff.
Thank you. And
I might even use it in my classroom, dude.
Hey, man, go ahead. Definitely go ahead. And it's having that Cooler Than Average mentality to be like, okay, whatever this is, I'm cooler than that. I don't need, like, just because I have diabetes that I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to be stronger than that. I'm going to be cooler than average. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be that average and be like, oh, just because I have this, I can't do this. You know what I mean? It's about, exceeding expectations. It's, not letting anything stand in your way. It's just a mindset that you have to have, and to be, optimistic about this stuff. You know what I mean? And rather than getting down on yourself and be like, oh, I can't do it because I have this, I have such and such, whatever it may be, and like the one kid that he's an amputee, if you see that on the site, this kid, like, he's a runner. He still runs. He's like, oh, like, I'm not letting it stop me. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. He's fast, too. I'm seeing him run. I did a photo shoot with him.
14 years old, Nicholas Weaver, freshman in high school. Incredible.
And it's amazing. It's just like, wow, like, it's so many people out there like that. So I'm just, that's why I just want to continue to just give, spread this to everybody. And I'm getting such great comments like, yo, this helped me so much just to see this. This is inspiring. This is, encouraging. It's just, I'm just trying to put that out there, put that good vibe out there, good spirit. And
even with COVID-19 right now, I think people are feeling more alone than ever.
Yeah.
So isolated, I know I've felt like, oh my God, I'm just calling random people because I need to talk to someone. Like I haven't talked to this person in a while. Let me call them, or whatever. But and like you said, back to the kids, just like kids, as they develop, they need help to see that they're not alone and whatnot.
Exactly.
And, right now with COVID-19, like, yes, we're trying to protect everyone and everything like that. But I think that some of the effects of what we're going through right now, this social isolation, is going to be felt for a time to come. And this is an excellent resource for adults, but especially kids and young adults as they develop.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to, so if anybody listening that has a story or anything like that, the email is coolerthanaverage@gmail.com, and the Instagram is cooler_than_average. So, people can email me, send me a DM, and we can talk, and we'll get the story up there. And I also do photography too. So I'm a photographer as well. Instagram is B5photography_.
Keep it going, brother.
I love it. See, my favorite thing about, like, you use your platform as a basketball player, and you've turned it into this whole entire, like, enterprise that you're almost creating. And you have this business, you're obviously going to school. I love, like, seeing the stories, and I think that's something that people don't really know. Like, it's like, I feel like when you're in basketball, it's like you're relevant, and then, like, once you walk away, it's like it's someone else is relevant now, and I'm gonna watch them. And you don't know the story of these people's wildly successful lives after basketball, and you're on your way. It's really inspiring to kind of hear all this. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna ask one thing, Dion. I'm looking at your shop. I like the T-shirt. You got to give me a hat up on there.
Yo, I have one hat. Like, I don't even know where it is. It's upstairs somewhere, but yo, I got you.
You put a hat up there, dude, and I'm all over it. I need a hat.
A couple people said that, and I was like, yo, actually, I got to do that. So I got to do that now.
All right, brother.
So yeah, man, for sure. Like, another thing I was gonna say is, mentioning what you were saying, Kevin. Like, after the ball, like, I knew that the ball would stop one day. Some people, they like, I know it'll stop, but it's way down the line or this and that. But you never know. You never know. So I just prepared myself for anything. You know what I mean? Like, I was never that type of person to be like, oh, it's only basketball. This is the only thing that I'm going to do, and I can't do anything else or anything like that. I've always been smart enough to say, hey, ball's gonna stop bouncing one day. Then what? You know what I mean? People get to that, and then what? And they're like, they don't know
Exactly.
and they gotta think about it. I was already thinking in advance, like, okay, if this happens, I've always been into technology, always been this and that. I did photography at Monmouth. That was my major. I had to switch into communication, but it was my major for a year. It was for a year, and I loved it, and I really appreciated it, and that's why I took it to even further. And I've been getting booked for so many photo shoots and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh wow. So this is another whole thing that I have going on. So, and for the people I do the story of, I do photo shoots for them to put on there if they're close enough. If they're close enough, I'll do a photo shoot. So most of them on the page you'll see that are from me. Most of them, except like maybe two or three, but everything else is from me. And so I add that into it too. I'm like, okay, you can get a free photo shoot if you tell your story as well, because people love photos, having professional photos taken of themselves.
Yeah.
So it was like, can add that into it as one of my talents, I can add that into the brand as well.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool. I feel like there you got John is a DJ, you got, Dion, you're a photographer.
Yep.
It's like a whole wedding setup. I'll just sit in the
Yeah, I was
corner
gonna say,
and make
man,
fucking
you
jokes.
want to do some weddings? Let me know. I just got a phone call the other day where like everything's on hold right now, but we got Kevin over here who's writing a book.
Oh, really?
I finished. It's all done. So the kind of what you were saying, like I took when I was like kind of towards the end of my career, I just started writing. I wrote a blog. And it started getting bigger and bigger, which is kind of like what I was able to jump into everything else. But I wrote a blog and just took the readers on my journey for like 2 years. And then I ended up using that and like took some time. And I just, it's in the publishing process right now. And hopefully it'll get picked up within the next 2 weeks and it'll be out there. But it's all about overseas basketball.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Congrats on that.
Thanks. And it's funny what you were saying, talking about Japan and like the going to Vegas. I did the same thing with South. It was crazy. It's like, but they must just like switch weeks. It's like, okay, like, because I know like that's like China does the same thing. And like, it's just a big thing in Vegas. It's just like use the same facility and just,
Yeah, it's like
go through those different countries.
The first week until like all the way up until like July 20th or 20 something, like it's just camp stuff like that, and just trying to give people an opportunity.
That's awesome. Well, Dion, I really appreciate you coming on, talking today. Your story's incredible. Just your basketball story, your after story, it's really good. So we'll get this all up, and I'm very happy that you knew who I was.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Come to Ziegler. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you guys having me, man. It's truly a blessing.
Absolutely. Well, Dion, best of luck. We'll be talking, and we'll have to catch up at the Monmouth game.
Oh, awesome. Sounds good, man.
All right, Dion. Good talking to you.
All right, good talking to you guys.
All right.
Later, Dion.
Later. So cool stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. I love, I'm a character. I even as a teacher, I describe myself, I'm the music teacher, but I describe myself as a character guy. And, that's like ingrained in anything that I teach, even though I'm teaching like piano, guitar stuff. And I'm looking at his website. Wait till you get a chance to look at this, man. It's incredible stuff up there. I'm pretty serious about the hat. You and I seem to be like the backwards hat kind of guys, and I want one. Like if I would have ordered it while we were doing this today,
I feel like I'm getting to the point. If you look, like, see, I still kind of have the mohawky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The mohawk's still going, but it's getting longer, and I feel like the second wave, like. I'm just like a little more hesitant to go get a haircut. I was like, I got one when like it was kind of like, okay, we're clear. Like, and I went and got a haircut, and now we're just like we're back to it. I'm like, nah.
Exactly.
I'll just let the long mohawk flow and just do
That's
whatever.
all right. Your sleeveless shirt takes all the focus off, dude.
Sleeveless summers continue. You got the. Listen, I got like
Is that Chewbacca on there?
This is the greatest shirt ever. I saw this picture online and I was like, all right, I need to get this. So I got it. So it's Chewie in a basketball court, two stormtroopers holding a basketball, and he's just defending them and saying who invited him. And I think that's like, I was like, this shirt I need more than anything because I love Star Wars. B, it's a tank top. So, sleeveless summer. And C, it's like it has to do with basketball, and I was like, this is like all three of my things. Like it just everything just conjoined, and I was like, all right.
It's one of those buys where you're like, there's no question in my mind. I gotta buy
$100, sure.
Yes, sign me up. I'll buy 3.
I'll take just in case I get the other one sweaty, which I probably already did.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, did you get a chance to see Jahava last week play at all?
Yeah, Jahava.
How'd he do?
He did well. So they just lost was it yesterday? They were in the tournament. They won their first round game. They lost recently. I think it was their second round game, but he played really well. He's going to be a big name. He's kind of on his way up. I talking to someone I know who's involved in the NBA. There's some interest in him.
Oh, nice.
Because they're not doing the summer league this year, and I talked about this before, this whole Corona, if they take away, I mean, it's not it's Corona. If that takes away, it's already taken away the fall Ivy League sports have said no. It could take away like this whole entire college season, and it's tough because the kids who would go to summer league and have a shot to play on an NBA roster, like not the guys that are drafted, those guys are kind of like sitting there like, now what? So Jaheve, like he might be that kind of guy who's like, like right on that cusp.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the best for him because he's got some interest definitely out there. So hopefully it will be good to hear. But good time today, John.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Great interview.
Awesome stuff. We'll be back hopefully next week. I've talked to a few people. It's crazy. Like I feel like now, like we were talking about last week, the people are contacting me now. So I'm just we're trying to like be like, I'm like texting you and be like, hey, can we do this? I have another person who wants to hop on. You're like, oh shit, yeah, that's fine. So we're now getting them cranking them out now. So tune in, iTunes. Look up the Matchup Zone on iTunes and subscribe, please. Subscribe to our YouTube. It's what is our YouTube channel called? Do we even know?
The Matchup Zone.
Is it the Matchup Zone? So you just go to.
Zone.
I'm gonna look this up real quick. YouTube, because I'm already logged in, I think, on it. So it should be just the Matchup Zone, right?
I'm pretty sure it's the Matchup Zone.
Yeah,
it's like
the Matchup Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Matchup Zone. We have exactly 0 subscribers so far. So
I think we had 4, and
we have
one
4
of them's me. One of them's me, dude.
Oh, so that's awesome.
But we're growing.
One of them. Well, I think I created the channel, so I don't think I count as a subscriber. But it's cool.
Someone's paying attention.
It's crazy because I feel like I go on Instagram and I'm like, all these people are starting to write now, and I'm like. And then I go on Instagram, we have like 90 followers. I'm like, but who cares? Like, we're starting. I think, I looked at the actual stats of like our iTunes, and I'm like, whoa, like there's a lot of people who are starting to, tune in, even if they're not subscribed. So get out there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to iTunes, and follow us on Instagram at, hold on.
Kevin Owens Instagram.
It's where are we at? Here, we'll do that next. Sorry, everyone. Oh my God. Hold on, there.
Gotta be prepared, Kev.
I'm
Did
like,
you stream today on Instagram?
Yeah, so that's why it's like everything's streaming, and I'm trying to like get it up.
I was gonna say because I've been so we got Facebook. I've been doing it Facebook from here, Instagram. So you gotta show me the iTunes thing because I can't see any of the iTunes demographics or anything. I'd be curious to see about that.
Yeah, it's we're getting up there, and I just feel like it's hopefully enough people are interested in what we're doing. I think the book will definitely help. It's just Matchup Zone. So it's all one word, Matchup Zone. Let me put that up there for the YouTube subscribers. There we go. So Matchup Zone. So yes, follow us on there. Follow us on Facebook. It's the Matchup Zone. Just Google Matchup Zone and all our shit will pop up. Or you'll learn how to run the Matchup Zone defense really well. Either way, guys, it was great. John Hunt, DJ for hire.
Let me know.
You rock, and we wish you guys the best. We'll see you again next week. Until then, peace out, guys.
I don't get you confused. I got a small circle. I'm not with different crews. We walk the same path, but got on different shoes. Live in the same building, but we got different views. I got a couple cars I never get to use. Don't like my women single. I like my chicks in twos. And these days, all the girls is down the road. I hit the strip club and all them bitches find a pole. Plus, I've been sipping, so this shit is moving kinda slow. Just tell my girl to tell a friend that it's time to go. Now tell me how you love it. You know you're at the top and all the heavens right above it. We own. It's Young Money, motherfucker. If you ain't running with it, run from it, motherfucker. Alright, now somebody show some money in this bitch. And I got my bees with me like some honey in this bitch. You dig? I got my gun in my boot purse and I don't bust back because I shoot first. train. Yes, I'm in the